And how would you describe the India-Russia relations?
This is something we've been working upon for decades, thanks to the hard work and the talent of the Indian people that shows the highest rates of economic growth that the government has been doing under the leadership of the Prime Minister Modi.
Well, thank you for this opportunity and for your hospitality. Mr. President, as you're preparing to travel to India for the BRICS Summit in September, and the global community is watching the evolving dynamics between Moscow and New Delhi very closely. While the special and privileged strategic partnership remains the cornerstone for both nations, some observers say that India's alignment with Washington creates structural frictions with Russia. From your perspective, how will you serve to inject fresh momentum into bilateral relationship? What steps can be taken to ensure that Russia-India ties remain resilient against external geopolitical pressures? And how would you describe the India-Russia relations in this redrawn geopolitical landscape? In your words, please. Thank you.
You gave the description yourself, and it is true, we enjoy a special privileged strategic partnership. That is how I characterize this relationship. It did not occur yesterday or 1 or 5 years ago. This is something we've been working upon for decades. Back in 1947, when the Soviet Union established diplomatic relations with the Indian Republic, we have been doing everything to support the establishment of a new state, a new independent state. And I'm glad to say that thanks to the hard work and the talent of the Indian people, India has made great and important achievements in its development. We all know very well, all those gathered here must know that India is one of the leading economies of the world that shows the highest rates of economic growth. And this is not something that comes out of the blue. This is a result of hard work that the government has been doing under the leadership of the Prime Minister Modi.
Because these rates of development have been demonstrated by India, while plans and strategies are implemented, formulated by Modi as the head of the government of the Republic of India. We are engaged in a lot of joint efforts, and we hope that in upcoming years we will reach $100 billion in mutual trade. Now it's about $58 billion or $60 billion, but we have all the foundations to work more actively and to reach more ambitious goals. And we are not only talking about our plans in energy, including nuclear energy. Kulam NPP is now being constructed, and new platforms will emerge in terms of hydrocarbons. We will be continuing working together. We have one of the largest investment projects into the Indian economy in your country, and we will be doing mutual investments. Everyone knows that India is very active in the pharmaceutical industry, and our economic operators are ready to propose a lot of interesting projects. I'm not going to enumerate all of the initiatives, but we have already outlined long perspective plans that are of interest for both India and Russia. Your question seemed a bit strange to me. You said that the cooperation between India and the US creates difficulties in the relations between Russia and India. I don't think that this is the case, distinguished colleague, why would you think that we're ready, that we're glad that India is developing its relations with all the countries? It's a great country, 1.5 billion people, a large economy, the largest democracy, as many people say. Of course, it is only natural that it develops its economy in accordance with its interests, with those countries that it deems necessary. Another thing is that the US are trying to put pressure on India in some matters, for example, when it comes to cooperation with Russia on some tracks, but everyone has understood that putting pressure on Narendra Modi, that has the largest population in the world, is detrimental for international relations and for bilateral relations. It doesn't matter where this pressure comes from. We don't see any negative consequences. I think that we can come to an agreement with all the participants of this process. And as of today, there, I would say, are no serious repercussions emanating from this state of affairs. We're developing our ties with India and will continue doing that, and we deem India to be a very reliable partner.
Mr. President, earlier in the interaction, you spoke about Russia's relations with China. You said it was not born yesterday. It has grown fostered over centuries. India has a similar relationship with China, but probably of a different nature. It's a difficult relationship. At the same time, India has a difficult relationship on its western border with Pakistan. I think you see where I'm going with this. Pakistan today is helped by China in military terms. About 80% of Pakistan's military hardware is of Chinese origin. China is also supplying technology, advanced technology to Pakistan, intelligence and military hardware. So this is causing some concern in India. You have very good relations with both China and Pakistan. Is there anything you would like to do at all in ensuring that India's security interests are not compromised? And a related question to that is that I just heard today that the S-400's latest battalion has been delivered to India. A fifth one remains. What is the advanced technology that the 5th battalion will include? And if you can give maybe a definitive timeline on the joint development of Su-57 stealth fighter and the delivery of the Akula class nuclear submarine. Thank you.
Of course, we are well aware.
Of course, we are well aware of all the intricacies and, of course, all the issues concerning the border between India and Pakistan. You said that Pakistan is a country that is fully under the control of China. I don't think so. First and foremost, Pakistan is a large country, and it has multifaceted ties with different countries. Of course, for Pakistan, it is very important to take into account the cooperation with the People's Republic of China. But everyone is developing their relations with China because it is the greatest economy in the world in terms of its GDP at PPP. India ranks 3rd. Russia ranks 4th in terms of its GDP at PPP. It's my answer to your French colleague to his question about the Russian economy. China, US, India, and Russia. That's the 4 top countries. We have outpaced the only European countries and Japan in this regard. These are delicate, multifaceted relations between India and China, and interfering into them. It's not a good idea. Of course, we interact with our friends in both India and China. I'd like to point out the following. I'm not going to delve into details because this would not be appropriate, but I can tell you with certainty that President Xi and Prime Minister Modi are both trying to resolve all the issues that are of mutual interest, including when it comes to the relations on the border. And I don't have any doubts when it comes to this. As for Russia, we have our own relations with China, with India. You've talked about it. And believe you me, it's no one holds any grudges here. For decades, we have been establishing these relations, and it was happening naturally. The relations between Russia and India do not disturb China. Our relations with China do not disturb India. They do not interfere. But this linkage between the three countries helps everyone. Take BRICS, for example. Do you know where it all started? It all started here, in the city of St. Petersburg. At one point, I suggested that leaders of India, China, and your humble servant meet here. And that's how Russia, India, China was established. We had things to talk about, to agree upon. That's exactly what we started doing later on. Then we were joined by Brazil, because Brazil wanted to take part in this three-country format. Then the South Africa joined. We got BRICS. We continue to expand. When we meet, we talk, we come to an agreement. We don't have any issues in our cooperation, either with India or China. We know that we have a multifaceted cooperation in military technical cooperation. We cooperate with India in terms of advanced armaments. You know, the mid-range BrahMos missile, both land and sea-based BrahMos missiles. As far as Su-57 goes, at one point we proposed to our Indian friends to work together on this technology. It's the 5th generation technology. I think it's the best in the world as of now. But back then our Indian friends said, do it on your own and then we will see, maybe we'll join. You know, this aircraft could have been our joint project. We built it independently, but we are ready to work with India in this field to supply these aircraft, to keep developing it. We don't have any issues with it, any limitations. Same goes for air defense systems. But when you start talking about air defense systems, it is important. It is critical to have separate components, but it's even more important to create a system. You have to take into account different altitudes, slowly and fast-moving targets. You have to also take into account that there should be one information system that would be working in real time. It's a high-end task, a complicated task. Now we are working on updating this system. Of course, we still have issues that remain, that have to be solved, but it is unique expertise that no other country does. We do have this expertise, and we're ready to share this technology with our Chinese friends, with our Indian friends, and that's what we are doing. And we will keep working in this regard.